if I can produce something and then people enjoy eating, and I eat with them, it gave me a lot of satisfaction that I have done something. Life to me is give and take.
Exactly.
Give and take. You cannot always take, you have to give something. But if you give something, you have to make sure that people actually want it.
The library was my space, and there was just so much.
To the Harbor Grace excursion with the boys to have a time.
Hi everyone, Justin Poy here. I'm the honorary patron of Asian Heritage Month, Canadian Foundation for Asian Culture, and I apologize for not being able to join you live for this event. Unfortunately, well, it's kind of a good thing. I mean, the world is opening up. There's lots of events happening. Almost every night we're all out and about, and unfortunately there was a conflict this evening, but I'm very happy to be able to deliver these remarks in person because, this is something that came about during COVID. Asian Heritage Month used to all be just about the month of May. But at the Canadian Foundation for Asian Culture, under the guidance of Kay Lee, we've been able to hold a number of events all throughout the year. And this is really what Asian Heritage Month was meant to be, a catalyst for year-round celebrations and celebrating Asian culture. So tonight I would like to welcome you all to the Moon Festival celebration with Professor Chef Leo Chan and Dr. Maria Lau. So it's wonderful that this annual Moon Festival event at the Toronto Public Library is returning to an in-person mode. Many thanks to the Toronto Public Library for their partnership to make Asian Heritage Month possible, especially for the crucial support of Mr. Gregory McCormick, the great ideas and hard work of Ms. Susanna Amos, and Mr. Sergio Elmir. During COVID, the Toronto Public Library was instrumental in helping us to acquire the technology and to enable us to do all of these wonderful virtual events. We're privileged to have Professor Chef Leo Chan and Dr. Maria Lau to share with us their stories about the Moon Festival, the memories they cherish, and the delicious food they enjoy. For those of you who have had the chance to hear Professor Leo Chan, he tells wonderful stories, and he's prepared. They've both been preparing for this event for quite a while now. The Moon Festival will be on this Saturday, September 10th, when the autumn full moon shines bright. But there are also celebrations to welcome the full moon, which is what we are doing this evening. In the Asian Heritage Month Declaration, signed 22 years ago on May 21st, 2002, a motion tabled by the Honourable Dr. Vivian Poy when she was Senator at the Senate of Canada. It begins with this statement: diversity represents one of Canada's greatest strengths, and we strive to ensure that all Canadians have the opportunity to reach their full potential and participate in Canada's civic life. Diversity enriches Canada. The same full moon illuminates different parts of the world. Multicultural Canada is privileged to be able to celebrate the full moon according to different cultural traditions. Each culture has their own myths and stories about the full moon, and together with its unique ways to celebrate. Today, we celebrate the full moon in Asian culture, complete with its traditional seasonal fruits and foods, bright lanterns, and music. We are sincerely grateful to Canadian Heritage, which now enables us to hold Asian Heritage Month events all year round, to enable more immersion into various Asian festivities. Without our funders and our sponsors, we couldn't do any of the activities that we do. It is a long list, please bear with me, but we must thank them because without them, we couldn't do anything. I would like to thank the funders and partners for making Asian Heritage Month 2022 possible. The funders: Government of Canada through the Department of Canadian Heritage, Toronto Arts Council, and Canada Council for the Arts. Toronto Public Library, Toronto District School Board, Toronto Catholic District School Board, the We Art Association, Chinese Canadian Photographic Society of Toronto, Cambridge Food and Wine Society, Real World Film Festival, Social Services Network, the Asian Institute at the Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy at the University of Toronto, and the Richard Charles Lee Canada Hong Kong Library at the University of Toronto, and City Opera Vancouver. Many thanks to the Mandarin Restaurant for their mooncakes, and a huge thank you to all of you for joining us today to celebrate and offer your crucial support for Asian Heritage Month and our festival during the Moon Festival. Thank you very much and enjoy the evening.
I'm Leo Chan. This is Maria.
Yes, this is Maria. My Chinese name Lai Chi.
I'm very pleased to see everybody because it's such a busy schedule for everybody with the Toronto International Film Festivals on. Understand that Elton John is doing his Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, but you're here. So thank you very much. It's very pleased to see you. Maria, may I call you Maria?
Yes.
Okay. I think our conversation will be great so that our audience will be almost on stage with us
Yes.
to share. And tell us, how do you celebrate the Moon Festival?
Well, my memory is very much the days when I was in Hong Kong. I'm new here to this country. So my memories of Mid-Autumn Festival it is so really the childhood days. But let me talk about how we celebrate in recent years in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, you know, is a city, a lot of high rise. You may not have your own backyard. So very often we will have a meal together with our family or friends because it depends on the exposure of your building. You may not be east facing. So very often we, the family, after the meal, will go to the park where we enjoy, and the kids will have the lantern and we'll have the fruits together. How about you?
Well, I came to Canada in 1966 as a teenager. I came with my family as landed immigrant. And I was just talking to Maria. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what's fear. I mean, there's certain fear when you come to a new place. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I didn't bring my passport with me, but I look at my passport today. It was in 1966, September the 9th, that we arrived in Toronto. And it's very similar to this gathering. It's very close to the Moon Festival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually.
I was born in Macau. I grew up in Hong Kong. Coming to Canada is not scary. It's very exciting. But my brother's here, and we asked our mother, say, Mom, where's the moon cake? My mother, who's very, creative person, say, kids, we're in Canada. There's no moon cake here.
Oh.
In fact, they don't even know what is this Moon Festival is. So we were kind of sad. I said, no moon cake, no all this celebration. But my mother said, don't worry. Mm-hmm. This whole moon cake business, moon cake is wrong, and it means a family reunion, the circle.
True.
But we were not really interested in all that. I said, where's the moon cake? So my mother said, I have something for you. And she said, I know all you want is to eat. I said, yes. And she said, I've ordered some pizza. So,
Sorry, I got a delivery here for Mr. L. Chan.
I am Leo Chan. Is that a pizza?
Yes, sir.
Oh, here it comes.
All right.
Bring back lots of memories of yours.
No tip?
You're the pizza guy?
Yes, sir.
Maria,
Do I look like a pizza guy?
did you order a pizza?
Somebody.
Who ordered that?
That's from your friend Sean Spicoli Penn.
Sean Penn.
Yes, sir.
Oh, the guy from fast time in Richmond High, okay? I mean, he ordered a pizza for his classroom. I'll take it. Okay, tell you what, you can have a moon cake over there.
That's a great deal. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
You know. For those who've seen that movie, it's a cult movie, Sean Penn's Jeff, skateboard or server, order a pizza to go to his classroom.
Yes.
Well, fortunately, we have real mooncake here.
This time.
And and since then, my family have a tradition. On the Mid-Autumn Festival, we eat mooncake, but we also have pizza. But the thing that I remember about my mother, she is a very, very clever person. Later on, the mooncake come in really beautiful boxes, like this. But most of them actually come in a box like this.
Yeah.
Some of you may remember in Chinatown now you have boxes. But my mother kept all the boxes. Like she had it's like the Chinese Tupperware lady. She kept all her stuff in there.
Yes.
It's like the Tupperware party. So that is my memory of Moon Festival of my first few years in Canada. It was not until maybe 20 or 30 years ago that real mooncake arrived in Toronto, but we still eat pizza.
Yes. You see, actually, in Mid-Autumn Festival, my mother tend to bring in a lot of round things. You will see oranges, whatever, cute little things. Yeah, round because it's fullness. So we have all this ball and other games. It is also in the round shape. So I always like this Moon Festival. You see all different kind of making.
I remember all these lanterns because there's one over there, and it signifies many things. And as kids, we used to run around with lanterns, and the lantern will be in different shapes.
Yeah.
And it's very dangerous because you put a candle in there. And
Yes. Here it is.
oh my God. Okay. And then it generates some kind of a heat, and it's like a mobile. And but nowadays, if you maybe you can tell me, in Hong Kong, the kids say no, this is not exciting. So they have a superhero, they have all kinds of really. Oh,
Let me bring this up. I borrowed some of because now it's so dangerous to play with a candle. I actually like candles, so they create all this little thing. I mean, it's quite funny. When we were young, we carry all this lantern, paper lantern, and the joy of it is burning it. At the moment you burn it, everybody is laughing. Wow,
You
mine
actually
is
burn it?
destroyed. Yes.
Okay.
Because it's the candlelight. If you run fast, you can easily burn your paper lantern. But now it's the same. You can always carry it and give to your kids. So this
well,
one.
I spent a long weekend with my son. I have two sons, one in Los Angeles, which we're going to visit him soon, and the other one, we went to Prince Edward County.
Ah.
And he had a drone, and it was flying around. Kids nowadays are so smart. They don't go around with this lantern. They have drones. And my son in Los Angeles have his food delivered by drones. All his grocery, toilet paper. I mean, he would be in his balcony, and then,
Mooncake as well.
Well, I don't know about mooncake, but I think over the years, we have made a lot of progress. And those are the good things. But I still miss the old custom. For example, I'm a terrible singer, but there's a lot of songs associated with the Moon Festival, right?
Yes, yes, quite a lot.
And do people sing?
Yes, yes.
They do.
I can try. Just a rhyme. 月光光照地堂，蝦仔你乖乖瞓落床。聽朝阿媽要趕插秧咯，阿爺睇牛佢上山歌。
Ooh, it's a lullaby.
lullaby.
Lullaby. Well, I'm glad that you are the one who's singing because
After you, your turn.
If I sing, you guys will all be gone. But I like to not just talk about this Chinese custom or Asian. I want to share with you some common ground, because diversity is a very, very nice thing, but it kind of divides people. I would love to talk about inclusiveness and what we have in common. You don't have to be Chinese to eat Chinese food, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And there are a lot of old Greek and Roman story. There's a lot of Chinese mythology. They're not the same, but sometimes I'm just being silly. I kind of wish all the gods, in different parts, they sort of get together, have a little party, and in my spare time, and I have a lot of spare time,
Thank you.
I do a lot of amateur creative writing. And I used to work for a company. The boss really encouraged me to do that and even make the staff to act out in some of those play. So I wrote it, and one of them is about Alice in Wonderland, which is not a Chinese story. But in my story, Alice, by the way, Alice is my sister. Her name is Alice. She is a housewife, and she married some guy in New York City, a Puerto Rican, and she moved to New York City. And Alice was not really happy doing all the housework, so she took some pills. And the pills make her went up to the moon. So it's a different type of Alice in Wonderland. But up in the moon was all those Chinese characters, the moon god, the rabbit and all that. And Alice said, "Who are you guys?" And they explained to her about the so-called Chinese, like for example, this lady she's not the moon goddess, she's just a moon lady. She was the one that allegedly took some pills, and she changed into this person and went up to the moon. She didn't get any help from Neil Armstrong, or there's nothing. She just went up there. How she went up there, I have no idea. She took some really bad drugs. She went up there, and then she found out that she was not alone. Now, for those who, I cannot make this up. A lot of people have made this up for me. So she went up there, and she found out that the place is very lonely. And she wanted to go back to her New York City to be with her husband and her kids. But going up to the moon, for her was quite an experience. Well, I certainly cannot sing a song like you, but whenever I thought about that story, I thought about the song from the movie Arthur, when you caught between the moon and New York City. The best that you can do is to fall in love. People know that song, Christopher Cross? Nothing to do with Chinese people. Probably nothing to do with the moon either. I have no idea why that song keep coming back to me, because I have a wonderful, wonderful 50-odd years in Canada. I've been back to Hong Kong and Macau a few times, but this is home for me. And I'm glad that I got welcomed, and I have a lot of things to share with Chinese and non-Chinese people. They asked me to talk about Chinese festival, talk about the Moon Lady, and talk about... There are so many books that you can get from the library. I used to be a volunteer here. I enjoy it very much. I bought books and all that. But it's nothing better than to share your personal memory. Those are real. I can make up a lot of story. I'm good in making up story. But the real story is people.
Exactly.
So going back to the songs. Are the song classical song? Are they based on stories? What kind of song that people like in Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, that is moon related?
Well, one of the very, this time when I mention the name, you will sing. Okay. This is by Deng Lai-Guan, Deng Li Jun. Do you remember the music?
Oh yeah, that's my go-to karaoke song.
Yes. So you're very familiar. You start, I am sure some of the audience will follow as well.
No, the song will require you pulling out your phone and doing this. You know, it say the moon represent my heart. I actually never heard of that song until I went to an event in Markham. And the mayor of Markham, Big Frank, was singing that. I said, boy, this guy can sing. You know, this guy, every time, doesn't matter if it's a moon festival or not, he sang this song.
Yes.
The moon represent my heart. That's kind of creepy. But coming from Frank, I think it's okay. But don't make me sing it, because I don't, no. I much rather read poetry, because poetry to me is like the script. You know, you have music and lyric. And again, my mother, by the way, passed away 6 years ago. If she's alive, she's 101 years old. What she loved to do, she's an artist. She liked to get together with friends. And then, of course, there's food. And she will paint, a painting. And then one of her friend will compose a poem.
Yeah.
And then a calligrapher will say, let me write that. And it's like musician, they're doing a jam session.
Exactly.
And in Cantonese, it's called ngã chạp.
Yes, ata.
It's when people from different discipline of art, literature, like imagine you have, I'm a crazy person, you have Shakespeare writing something, and you have, Michelangelo, and you have somebody who will, Picasso, who will do some crazy thing, and then they put together, and the end product is a combination of different discipline. And when my mother passed away, she gave me a painting, and it was done by her with a poem written by some guy, and then a calligrapher who's quite famous, I guess, and I put that in my house and I look at it because to me, it means a lot
Yeah.
when, when you have musicians that can go together and write a song. That's why I love, I used to do a lot of this talk solo, but I'm a retired professor. I do not like to lecture. I like to talk to people.
Yes.
Because every time I talk to people in the audience, I learn something.
Yeah.
Because what my memory is really just my memory. It's really
Each of us have our own memory deep in our heart.
It's just a very random, thing. But if I share, and I have some friends here who's part of my research group, I write things, and then we'll sit together in a circle and we do a readout. Like we read just like people who share. And people say, Jack, my good friend here, said, Leo, I think you should do this. And somebody said, well, maybe that. And I change. I have no intention of publishing any of that. People said, I'm certainly not going to make a movie, but I would love to hear from you. What are some of the poems that you enjoy when you were in Hong Kong, for example?
Well, before I sort of share with you a poem that I like, is a very simple poem. But what you mentioned just now about Zha is the literati, the scholar, the painters, that they get together in the evening or a whole day. They just talk and they drink, maybe tea, maybe wine, but they might have a theme, and some would do painting and some would do poems. And when they come together, there will be maybe a final piece that everybody join, and it is a joint effort. And then it's well preserved. It's very lucky indeed you received this gift from your mother.
Yes.
Because this tradition of getting together and on classical poetry or classical writing or painting, it's become rare, very rare in Hong Kong.
My family is very fortunate because my grandparents from both sides encourage us. And my grandfather from my mother's side loved to eat. And he will have people who cater. He has a little farm, even though that we live in Hong Kong, but he has a little place in New Territory. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he will have people actually cook. Yeah. And then there's a lot of booze. But we, as kids, we just go there because we love the food. And then we sort of listened to our mother talking to her friends, and they put together this. I didn't know it was such a, enormous creation by different like poets and calligrapher and painter, and then they share, and they do more than one.
Yeah,
so they will get to take it home.
Yeah.
And as kids, we didn't realize you are witnessing, some fantastic. It doesn't matter if they're famous or not, but they love their art.
Yeah.
We kids, we love the food, and grandfather will always have food for us kids. And those are some of my memories. And
lucky you.
Well,
indeed.
For a while, for the first few years in Canada, I didn't have any of that. Mm. And I thought, oh God, we have lost all that. Not just a tradition. As a 16-year-old, what do I know about tradition? But afterwards, when I was in university and later on, and with all the people coming from different parts of Southeast Asia, I was very overwhelmed with how much not just the resources we have, but how much non-Chinese people say, that's a good thing.
Yes.
And then I learned from Italian people, Greek, and Jewish people, and everybody have their own tradition.
It's true. My experience of coming to Canada, I'm new to this country. So the feeling is I'm very welcomed here. And I think it's very, very unique in the world for this city and also for the country that is really multicultural and it's multiracial. And on this occasion, because Mid-Autumn Festival, we're really talking about the moon, in the sense that the moon is shared across time and space. Because when we Chinese, when we say that, oh, remember the moon, no matter how far you are, we are gazing at the same moon, 千里共嬋娟. So it is the friendliness. So no matter what race you are, you're sharing the same moon, and it symbolizes harmony. So it does not necessary to be Chinese, but the spirit of the Mid-Autumn Festival, I think, is great.
When I planned this talk with Maria, I said, Maria, can you give a title to this this moon festival? And she said, Harmony. And I really love that because harmony will include more than one. I mean, how can you be harmony by yourself? I mean, if you go to be a hermit, you're in harmony, but then you're not in harmony with anybody. And I'm not a hermit. And what I enjoy the most, you can tell, I like food, I like movies, I like, music, I like everything. But all my formative years, even though that could be in Hong Kong, is actually here in Canada. And when my wife and I have our children and a granddaughter, I love to go and watch cartoon because I can share with them. Now they're two, I mean, my granddaughter is in U of T, so I'm not sure if she likes cartoon anymore. But I remember one particular cartoon. It's called The American Tale. It's about a mouse who somehow end up in America. Mm-hmm. And there was a song by Linda Ronstadt and James Abrams called Somewhere Out There. Basically, somewhere out there, we're under the same moon. Yes. We're under the same big sky. And no matter where you are, no matter what the circumstance happen to be, if you can look beyond the problem in front of you, somewhere out there, somebody is saying a prayer, somebody is loving you the way that you, just like the poem that you said, you can be far away from your loved one. Like this guy who's the greatest poet, as far as I knew, Lei Pa. He wrote so many poems, but a lot of them have to do with the fact that he was traveling. He's away from his home. Mm-hmm. And he said, by looking at the moon, I can feel that I'm at home. And sometimes I feel like that. And people ask me recently, I don't know why they asked me, say, Leo, do you identify yourself as Chinese, Macau, whatever? I said, well, I'm a Canadian, but there's a lot of things about being Chinese that I will never forget. Mm. Mm. And I told this person, I said, I don't have to tell anybody, I don't have to prove anything to anybody that I'm Chinese. Mm. Mm. However, there are certain things about every culture that I'm not very good with words because I had to look up a dictionary. What is unique? What is distinct? What is whatever? But if there is something that I can share with you about, I'm a professor chef, so cooking or history or tradition, and if we can have a conversation, mm-hmm. without argument, without killing each other. It's a nice get together.
Yes, indeed. I think the people here in this country should be proud of what they have accomplished for all these years. This word, diversity and inclusive, is never that mentioned to me. In all my past years in Hong Kong, it's primarily a Chinese community. So you're not really aware of. But coming to this country, you have all these people around you in your office, in your library, you have students from different parts of the world, and just right opposite to my library's entrance, there is a reflection room for students who need to say the prayer at certain time of the day. I think this is very, very nice that you're actually accommodating different culture, different religion. So that's why when you ask me what is the theme, I think harmony is the theme. And this is what I experienced so far in this country. Of course, there are still a lot of things that I have to experience here. But I have to tell the audience and my friends here, this is a very special place. We all should. I feel very proud of this country and the people here. And thank you, Leo, for bringing this inclusiveness. Just bring us from just our childhood experience to a wider context where we can share with our friends here.
A lot of my friends ask me, what do I like to do the most other than eating, which is quite obvious. I said, I love to cook, and I like to watch people eating. I said, that really? Because if I can, I'm not saying I'm a great cook, but if I can produce something and then people enjoy eating, and I eat with them, it gave me a lot of satisfaction that I have done something. Life to me is give and take.
Exactly.
Give and take. You cannot always take, you have to give something. But if you give something, you have to make sure that people actually want it. For example, the Mandarin gave us 150 moon cake. If nobody wanted it, I don't know how I'm going to tell the sponsor. And fortunately, it is something that people kind of enjoy. And with so many food allergy and preference and all that, I always have to do a lot of research. I ask my family, so-and-so is coming. What does he like? What should I avoid? And by doing that research, it gave me satisfaction that I've done something good. For example, I worked many years with the BIA in Chinatown. I love doing a talk with them. And then at one point I said, I'd like to give you a painting from my mother. Now, I was taking a big chance. What if they say, no, we don't want it? I mean, it is possible because they have no idea what kind of artwork maybe they don't like modern, traditional. It will be like, you're taking a big chance, you want me to sing for you. It's a good thing I don't sing. But I love music.
I can tell.
Because the library asked us to put together a list of songs. So when you walk in, but it's very like background music. Some of them were Chinese, some of them are Italian, and there are many, many songs that I love, and we should focus tonight to talk about the moon. And one of the songs that my father liked, and my father liked Dean Martin. And there's a song called Amore. It's when the moon hit your eye like a big piece of pie. That's Amore. And I asked my father, what's Amore? And he said, Amore is love. I say, Italians throw pizza at each other? No. And my father is a great guy, and he's a world traveler. He said, oh, the Italian language, some call it the language of love. I said, God, just eat the pizza, okay? But you know that song, Amore? When the moon hit your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. And so on. You don't want me to sing it. There are many, many songs. There are many, many lovely images that I look back. I remember my parents, my grandparents, my brothers and sisters, and the whole family and friends. Is when you have those opportunities.
We see if the audience has some questions.
Well, we're almost done. I think that's amore.